Hey everyone, I'm back with another show. This time I'll be showing off some films that I recently bought or upgraded. Um, and here we go with the first one. I have the first Frozen movie, so I figured, it was a decent price if I recall, so I may as well just get the second one. Okay. Next is this is an upgrade. I bought the 4K version of Species. I already had the Blu-ray, but I heard good things about the transfer, so I thought I'd buy it. Species is a good movie. Um, it was in 1995, and it's really kind of like Alien or Aliens or both, little mixed in. But it's a good movie, and it's got Natasha Henstridge, who is breathtakingly beautiful. And I don't use that term often because to me there's no higher level than breathtakingly beautiful. So it's got that, and there's so many new extras on this that if you want to pause that, I'm trying to get the glare off here. And take a look. There's so many extras that I figured it was worth the upgrade, so I did that. Next up is the Paramount Presents version of Another 48 Hours, which is not as good as the first one, but it's a really good action movie. The only thing I don't like about it is that when it begins, Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy's characters are not friendly. Eddie Murphy's not too friendly toward Nick Nolte, which I didn't like because after the first one, they ended as really starting a nice friendship. So it didn't make sense to me that Eddie Murphy's character was so aggressive toward Nick Nolte. But once that goes by and they become friends again, then it's okay. The next is a movie that I've upgraded from DVD, Heart and Souls with Robert Downey Jr. This movie I love. If you don't tear up with this movie, then something is seriously wrong with you. It's also got Elizabeth Shue, who I really like, and Alfre Woodard, Charles Grodin, Tom Sizemore, who I love him as an actor. He's done so many great films. So that's a Blu-ray upgrade. Next is a horror movie that was recommended to me. Well, not personally, but I watch Mr. Hat's movie reviews. I really like him, so I kind of go by what he says. And it's the Autopsy of Jane Doe. This was really, really good, creepy, suspenseful, and scary. And I don't want to tell you exactly what happens. A couple of autopsy guys. I forget what they're called. It's off the top of my head. I can't think of it. But you know they get this body, and weird things start happening when they start cutting it up. Next is one of the best horror movies in the last 20 years is Hereditary, which is an upgrade from me from Blu-ray. This is a masterpiece. Toni Collette, who's one of the best actresses out there, who I've met, very nice in person. This movie is creepy, scary, suspenseful, and it stays with you for days later. So, highly recommend that. The next movie, I don't know what I could say about this. This is Halloween Ends, the last of the trilogy. I saw the ending of the film, only I haven't watched this yet. But from what I have read and saw in reviews, it makes no sense picking up from where the two before it left off. This should have been a relentless, down and dirty fight between Laurie and Michael Myers, and it takes place years later with different characters. It should have been just a relentless knockdown, drag out fight, especially at the end, but that didn't really happen. I'm gonna watch the film eventually, but I'm in no rush. But I'll get to it. I mean, personally, I think Halloween 1 and 2 and Halloween H2O of the original series was really the only timeline. To me, the others were just cash grabs. So, but that's me. Next, I got this from Best Buy, Terrifier 2, the sequel to Terrifier. Uh, this is without a doubt the goriest, bloodiest film probably ever made. And David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, he's great. His expressions and his mannerisms and his acting, even though he doesn't speak, is incredible. If you're looking for like pretty much one of the best slasher films ever made, this is it. Next is one of my favorite movies of the last 30 years, Double Jeopardy. This is a 4K upgrade Paramount presents from the DVD that I had, but I had to do it because I love this movie. I love Ashley Judd. Tommy Lee Jones basically plays pretty much the same character he played in The Fugitive, where he just relentlessly goes after Ashley Judd. I won't say any more than that. I don't want to spoil anything, but I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get this movie. This is an excellent suspense film. Next is one of my 10 favorite movies of all time, the original, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. This is another 4K upgrade from the Blu-ray, and it's definitely an upgrade. It's better visually, but we had the sequel with John Travolta, which was pretty good, but it doesn't even touch this one. This one is excellent. It's 1974. Don't let that bother you. It's one of the greatest suspense films I've ever seen in my life. Still one of my top 10 favorites. And Walter Matthau is perfect in it. Next movie is I don't have the technology. I don't know what the technology is to do graphics yet. I'm working on that. So what I did was I just made a cover for this, so I have something to show you. But I'm a big fan of revenge films, and this is one I saw on streaming not long ago, and it's called Hunting Emma, and it is really, really excellent. The lead girl is great. It's an Australian film, I believe, but I really enjoyed this. The fact that I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen, that says it all. The next three are also from streaming, so I had to get something to show you, so I made another cover, printed another cover out. The Apology, which is on Shudder, the Shudder channel, and this is an excellent film. Anna Gunn plays a woman who's a recovering alcoholic, and she gets a visit from her ex-brother-in-law, and Janine Garofalo's also in it, who I love, and this thing gets really intense. The writing's excellent, the acting is excellent, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I highly recommend it. The next one is on streaming. It's on Shudder, I believe, and it's called See For Me. And this is about a girl who recently became blind from a skiing accident, and she's trying to hide the fact that she's blind. She gets a gig house sitting / cat sitting for a rich family, and ironically, the night that she's there, the first night she's there, some people try to break in and rob the place. It's kind of a combination of Wait Until Dark and Panic Room. So if you like those two films, if you can figure, what that would be like, this is excellent. The next one is also on Shudder right now. It's very controversial, Skinamarink. I'm sure many people out there have heard of it already. Very creepy film. It's something that when I was watching it, I couldn't stop watching it. Some people didn't like it, but the fact that it stayed with me for days later, and the first night I slept with the lights half on, that tells you a lot. It's about a couple of kids who wake up and they can't find their father, and the doors and the windows in the house are suddenly disappearing, which would be really scary for an adult, never mind a kid. So these next few films I have not watched yet, but I picked them up, and they were very highly recommended by, again, Mr. Hat, movie reviews. So I picked them up, and the first one is Ready or Not. I believe this girl, she gets engaged to this guy, and she goes to meet the family, and the family puts her through all kinds of hellish games in order to approve of her. Sick, but I heard this is really excellent, so I'm going to watch that. The next one I heard is one of the scariest horror films out in a while, The Last Exorcism. I'm not sure exactly what the story is about. I mean, I can imagine. Also, there's a ton of extras on this thing. I don't even know how they fit it all on a Blu-ray. I know it's a Blu-ray, but I don't know how they fit them on it. So, next one, another recommended film by Mr. Hat, is and this has Ron Perlman in it. It's called 13 Sins, and if I remember right, this guy gets knocked into playing these games, so and his life depends on the games that he solves, the games or puzzles that he's given in order to live. So again, I haven't watched this, but it came highly recommended. The next one is supposedly another very scary film, The Curse of La Llorona. La Llorona. A Curse of La Llorona. And this is supposed to be a very good film, horror film. I'm trying to get the glare off there. The next film is supposed to be very good, another horror film, Saint Maud. You can see that. I don't have no idea what this is about, but it came recommended also. And I'll link Mr. Hat's movie reviews channel. This last one, the reason I got it is because it reminded me of True Romance, which I love. That's one of my favorite films, True Romance. Trouble Bound, and this has Patricia Arquette and Michael Madsen, who I both like. And it's a Bonnie and Clyde type film, and so that's kind of those films I like. My favorite film in that vein is Gun Crazy, which is the original Bonnie and Clyde, and that's 1950. But what a great film! It's a classic. It has some very inventive camera angles that a lot of filmmakers use later in their careers. So that's another film. So that's it. So those are the films that I picked up, and I just thought I'd show them off and share. And thank you for watching, and I'll be back with either more comics or movies.